All right, the next team, next best playoff odds is actually Oklahoma. And Oklahoma, my thoughts on this would have been very different 2 weeks ago. And now my concerns for Oklahoma are a little bit different. With Oklahoma, I think a lot of their offensive problems actually are fixed with Caleb Williams, assuming that he stays healthy. One of my main concerns with Oklahoma this year has been the run game. They have not been a good running football team. I don't think the offensive line is nearly as good as it was. And honestly, their offense is still really damn good. I have it as the second best offense in the country, but it's not a super elite offense compared to what it is at times. And I think part of the reason for that was some of the run game stuff. Spencer Rattler is not really a threat in the 11-man run game. When you have a poor offensive line, you can help some of that either by being really good on the RPO stuff, with which Rattler has kind of mixed results with, or by doing more of the running quarterback stuff, which Caleb Williams can do. And defenses really do have to respect his legs in the 11-man run game. So, let's see how this looks. Well, the last 2 games, the run game looks absolutely awesome. The holes are bigger. I think the backside is being held more by Caleb Williams and the threat of his legs. And they're also hitting explosive pass plays at a higher rate as well with him in there. Granted, they've played TCU and Texas, 2 defenses that I don't think are necessarily great. But, that's encouraging. Here's what scares me about Oklahoma. And this is a fixable problem, but it is a problem. I spoke with Colin Kennedy about this morning. I know I spoke with a couple of y'all as well on Twitter just to get a good feel for what's going to happen here. Oklahoma right now, I think their defensive front is really pretty nice. Their havoc numbers are all pretty damn good. Their defensive line in particular is really, really strong. They have some guys up there who will play in the NFL. Their linebackers are okay. But these pass defense numbers on the back end are horrendous. And if these guys in there right now are the dudes who they're going to roll with, I think Oklahoma will lose 2 more games in the regular season. Like, that final stretch that they have is not navigable if they have to continue to play with these guys right now. Baylor, Iowa State, at Oklahoma State, starting on November 13th. However, the next 2 weeks, October 23rd, this weekend at Kansas, and then they host Texas Tech, and then they get a bye. Oklahoma has, about 25 days to get healthy in the secondary, because there are major problems right now. So Woody Washington's out, DJ Graham is out, Delarian Turner-Yell is out, and even backup Jeremiah Crudell is out as well. Oklahoma's having to move some safeties to corner right now to counteract this. But I spoke with Colin Kennedy of our Oklahoma 24/7 Sports site, and he told me there's actually a pretty good chance that all those guys get back by the stretch run. If Oklahoma gets those guys back, I'm not saying that they're going to have an elite pass defense. I don't think they will. But if you've watched them the last couple of weeks, they were just getting guys mossed consistently over and over again. And that's just not something that you can win with if you're getting mossed like that. If those guys come back, then this could be a really, really good football team and a legitimate national title contender, because you will score points, I think, on pretty much anybody with Caleb Williams in their quarterback. And he's played 6 quarters of football, so I certainly could be wrong on that. I'm sure some of those defensive coordinators down the stretch, Jim Knowles, Aranda, Iowa State, those guys can all play some defense. Somebody will trip him up. When that trip up comes, Oklahoma needs to make sure that they're giving up sort of in that like 28 to 35 range and not 50. Right now with this current secondary, I think they could be giving up a 50 burger because guys I understand the coverage bus when you have the backups in there, but these backups right now just can't play. They're literally getting mossed several times a game, and 50-50 balls against the current Oklahoma secondary are not 50-50. They're like 65-35, 70-30. And so to me, that is a problem for the Sooners. But if they get those guys back, like Colin told me, there's a decent chance they will. Well, then it's a whole new ballgame, because with that defensive front, if you have some guys who can play the ball, you're going to get some turnovers most likely, even though we know turnovers have a large luck component. You at least have to be in position and playing the ball to get interceptions typically. Anyway, that's my take on on Oklahoma.